If you're a freelancer in the UK, or indeed if you're currently working a side hustle, then the content of this video is going to be very critical for you to pay attention to. Now, if you've been following the news recently, you know that Hmrc recently announced a new initiative which they are calling the Side Hustle Tax Scheme. Okay, this initiative is basically Hmrc's way of telling a lot of freelancers that they are looking to start cracking down on a lot of side hustlers, a lot of people who are freelancing and generating income from a lot of platforms, including Uber, including Airbnb as an example. And this basically means that you might be in a position where the income that you're generating from these platforms, okay, not restricted to Uber and Airbnb, of course, but the income that you're generating from your side hustle, essentially, you will by law have to report that to Hmrc. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the things you might want to consider depending on what category you fall into in terms of where your current income threshold lies and whether or not it is actually something that you should be concerned about or not. Hello, if you're new to this channel, my name is Tess and I'm a UK-based qualified accountant, and on this channel, I share weekly videos to help fellow entrepreneurs like yourself grow and thrive in their businesses. If you ever want to work with me on a one-to-one basis, you can do so using the link in the description box below. Now, from the 1st of January 2024, Hmrc has basically instructed a wide variety of different platforms, including Fiverr, Upwork, Etsy, and even Airbnb, to report directly to Hmrc how much they are paying to people who basically have side gigs or side hustles using these platforms. Now, one of the reasons this new initiative is being pushed heavily by Hmrc is due to the fact that since the lockdown, there's been a significant rise in the number of people who have actually started side hustles or who actually indeed have a second source of income but haven't actually been reporting that directly to Hmrc. Naturally, the concern a lot of people are having right now is how exactly is this going to affect them and what can they do to ensure that they are actually on the right side of the law. Now, before we talk about some of the steps you can take to actually tackle this new initiative that's coming into force, I think it's important to actually highlight the fact that if you have a side hustle, if you have, a side business, for instance, that you're doing on the side, you actually do have a trading allowance, okay? A trading allowance of £1,000. And that trading allowance is basically a gross income, okay? So if the business or side hustle that you've been doing has not even earned up to £1,000 in the year, then you don't actually have to report that to Hmrc. So in most cases, if you've just started a business, if you're doing a side hustle and that business has not generated up to £1,000, then it is likely that you are actually in a situation where you don't have to worry about it. First thing I'll say is, as a freelancer, you should already be ensuring that you're actually complying with the relevant tax laws by ensuring that you're submitting your self-assessment tax return to Hmrc, okay? Because you want to make sure that you're actually in a position where you're avoiding any potential investigations and indeed any tax penalties that could arise as a result of failing to submit your self-assessment tax return. Another thing I want to mention is anyone that's currently earning over £1,000 from their side hustle should definitely already be reporting their income to Hmrc, okay, via a self-assessment tax return. Now, I have a few videos on my channel already on self-assessment tax returns, so please do make sure you watch those videos. Now, obviously, the main reason a lot of people actually start a side hustle or have a second source of income in the first place is because they're actually looking for ways in which they can earn additional income, okay, due to the recent economic downturn and the recession. A lot of people are looking out for more creative means as to how they can actually increase their income. Now, one of the first questions I would ask if I was a freelancer or an entrepreneur who is currently being faced with the potential of actually having to deal with the side hustle tax is to consider whether or not the income that you're generating from the side hustle is actually going to push you into the higher tax rate band. Okay, so in most cases, it might apply. In some cases, it might not. It really just depends on your individual circumstance. Okay, and if you're in the scenario where the income that you're generating from your side hustle tax is actually going to end up meaning that you are pushed into the higher tax rate band and paying at least 40% on your income tax, then this is going to be a significant decision for you to take, because it will also definitely affect how much you're actually able to take home after you've been taxed, okay, both from your 9 to 5 and also from your side hustle. Another thing I want to say to this is to consider the potential of you actually setting up a UK limited company, okay, to run the side hustle or the side gig that you're doing, especially for those who are currently faced with actually potentially having to pay the higher tax rate on their side hustle income, okay, because by you actually opening up a UK company in which you're going to run the side hustle through, all that income that you're generating from your side hustle will go under that company, okay? The only thing you would have to consider is if you wanted to take income from the business, you know, from the side hustle business, then you have to definitely think about the most tax efficient ways as to how you're going to do this. It might be that you only look to taking out dividends, or it might be that you only take a small proportion of that income as a director's salary. So these are some things that you definitely want to consider if you're someone who is currently facing the scenario of where you will have to pay, you know, significant amounts of tax as a result of this new side hustle tax that is being implemented from the start of next year. Now, if you decided not to open a UK limited company to actually run your side hustle business through that, then you definitely want to make sure that when you are filing your self-assessment return to declare this additional income to Hmrc, you need to think carefully to ensure that you are actually claiming all the tax allowable expenses that you potentially would be allowed to claim as a result of the side hustle business that you're doing. Because if you're doing that, then at least you would ensure that you are actually reducing, you know, the potential amount of tax that you would otherwise have to pay. Irrespective of the decision you choose to go with, it's very important that you ensure that you're actually ready to be tax compliant from when this new rule comes into force from the 1st of January 2024. Now, I already have a few videos up on my channel in relation to self-assessment tax returns and some of the things to consider for those who are looking to file their self-assessment tax returns. So do make sure you watch these videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please do make sure you leave them in the link below. Please don't forget to like this video. Make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications.